Just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Yeah.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Okay. Stanley, yeah. Obviously, yeah, it was just a game, wasn't it? Hey, it's a game. Oh, look. Ooh, credits. This is nice. The office. Maintenance room. I really don't have a fucking clue what's going on. But I like to look about. Office clock. Yeah. I hear the tick-tocking. Tick. I hear beeping. Like whole museum stuff. Sending letters. Okay. This is just weird as fuck, though. It's like a game and has no ending, does it? So, okay. Will the game feature capybaras? What the fuck are capybaras? That's an animal, ain't it? That was my office. That was my office. That was my office. So basically, what I think, I don't know. What they're getting at is we're all just a game. Life's but a game. That's the way I came up. Ooh. Ooh, that's cool. Freedom ending.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Yes, how I be free.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps
Perhaps
not.
not.
Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
Look, weird as fuck.
But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Turn off your PlayStation. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
Eh? Are they telling me not to play the PlayStation? Okay. I don't have a clue. And we're back in the game. Right, that's weird as fuck.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Okay.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
When Stanley came
Let's
to a
go
set of
left.
two open
Shut
doors,
up.
he entered the door on his
I went
left.
right last time. I'll do as I'm told. I'll be a good boy.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Yeah.
Feeling a
anything
wave of
changed?
disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
I think I'll go down this time.
Coming
No.
to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
No. What's that? No, no. Car park.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting
Okay.
he had left his post during work hours, he
No,
might
I
be
didn't,
fired for that. And in
Shut
such a
up.
competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he
Oh,
believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And
yeah.
then something occurred to Stanley.
I'm just
Maybe,
going to quit.
he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
Yes, I
All of
am
my
crazy.
co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all.
And I'm walking
None of it
round
made
and
any
round the
logical
exit.
sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
Yeah.
And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty
Yeah,
familiar.
I'm walking
Were
round
they
and
simply
single.
repeating?
Yes,
No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled.
No.
This is all a dream.
No.
Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head.
Why the fuck am I playing this game?
Asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility.
Nah, imagine playing this melody to your face, man. It would be crazy.
He's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this world.
Oh, man, this is strange.
He thought to himself.
I'll still go be going round in circles.
I wish it to be over.
And circles and circles and circles.
Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please.
Please.
I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's
it sounds like
my life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine.
I got my first trophy.
I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Okay, that was interesting.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Oh, so it's a different
Mariella
one.
woke up on a day like any other. She rose, got dressed,
now I'm playing as a woman,
and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man.
He's the guy who I
knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. Then she remembered the
Look at the
meeting she
crazy
had
man.
scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Okay. So am I playing as Mariella now? Oh no, I'm back to him.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply
I
missed
don't
a
know
memo.
why this is strangely strange. And I'm still playing this.
Stanley came to a set of
Usually
two
I
open
turn this
doors.
shit
He
off.
entered the door on his left.
I suppose I better just follow the way. Follow the way and go to mind
Yet there
control
was
center.
not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Ah, that's changed the lit. Alright, get Chris out the room. Okay, it's not changed it. Right, let's go up to the boss's
Coming to a
office.
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Yeah.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret
watch
pin
me
number,
do what I'm...
2845.
Oh, that's changed.
But of
2,
course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
8. Has it changed? No, it's not changed.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
It wants me to go to mind control, so yes, I'm going.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Okay. There's a big computer.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Yeah. So I go this way now. Observation protocol. CCTV
Now
cameras.
the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Okay.
No. He
refused to believe it.
He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable.
Aren't we all?
Wasn't it? Was
It's
it
like a
even
wee
possible?
rip-off of the
Had he
Matrix,
truly
isn't it?
spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Yeah. Oof.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Oh, I'm going to rescue all my mind control motherfuckers. What's this? Okay. System power off. Oh. There we go. Switch off. I do what you ask. Next time I might just put it on. What's going to happen now?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty.
No.
Was it over?
Well, yeah, kind of, because I'm not sure the game.
Yes. He had won. He
No,
had
I'm
defeated
not.
the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere
No, but I'm
moments
going
away.
commanded by you,
And
the
yet,
Nenea.
even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking.
What happiness.
Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin.
Ooh, he got
Feeling
naked and ran about naked.
the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And
Basically,
Stanley
they'll tell you,
was
stop
happy.
playing computer games and go fucking outside. Cheeky bastards. I beat the game. Okay. It starts back,
All of
so...
his co-workers were gone.
Right,
What could it
so if I
mean? Stanley
switch to
decided
mind
to go to the
control
meeting room.
or...
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So we just walk round the round, do we? Yeah, let's go right
When
again.
Stanley came to a set
I'm
of
going
two
right
open
sharp.
doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge
Nope,
first,
I don't.
just to admire it.
I just want to see if anything
Wow.
change.
Yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Nope. I'm going in here.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Yep. Warning, you can fall. Penalty for misuse of cargo. Let's see if I can get on it.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Nope.
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
I know you're not.
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
Yeah, and I'm doing what I want
Someone
to do.
you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone
Who?
you've forgotten about.
Who have I
Please,
forgot about?
stop trying to make every decision by yourself.
No, I'm going to
not
do what I
asking for
want to do.
me, I'm asking for her.
Ooh.
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. to put your work aside,
Oh.
to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Who's been waiting?
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Right, well, how's that pick? Oh, hello. Hello? What the? What?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see
Well,
something.
fuck you,
Come
narrator.
inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Right. Good morning, employee. No.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow.
Yeah.
He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Uh-huh.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to
You
do.
cheeky bastard.
Now he's pushing a button. Now
Nope.
he's eating lunch.
Nope.
Now he's going home.
Nope.
Now he's coming back to work.
No.
One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Nope. No. I'm just going to not press anything. See if he does anything. No. I guess I have to then, eh?
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown.
Basically,
fantastic discoveries of new
having a wee
lands.
talk
It was
about why we
wonderful.
game,
And
ain't
each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Where's the TV?
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth.
Okay.
The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door.
No, it
The
didn't.
mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost
It's
too
quite good that
wonderful to behold.
they've kind of like
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths
kind of
and
thought of every way that
destinations.
you would go as a
Down one
gamer.
path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls.
Yes,
Down
we're all
another
cool.
was a yellow line that weaved in many directions, and down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Mhm.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here,
Yeah, because
watch
you know
this.
we're going to play
Stanley,
again.
the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it. You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Right, I'll not press anything this time. Have you thought of that? No.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I
Why the
suppose.
fuck am I playing this game?
I'll try
Honestly,
once more
they're
to
right.
convey all this to him. I'm
Okay.
compelled to.
I must. Okay.
Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
That's a bit harsh. Please die. It's a bit harsh. Please die. Right. I'm going to go
Even
shoot
now,
it.
Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yeah. Up to the boss's office.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
It's weird as fuck that they're taking the piss out of you for actually playing the
The
game.
moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley
One last
froze in
time,
his
I'm going to
tracks.
switch the mind
Not
control
a
on this
living
thing.
soul anywhere. Could he really be all alone? This was too much for Stanley to take. Too much for any man to take. He fell to his knees, bursting into half moans, half sobs, the guttural retching of life from a man denied any hope, any reason to keep going. Here on the floor, he lay prone, paralyzed by fear for nearly a full hour. But when at last he began to move about and survey the situation,
This sounds like
he
a bit
found
like my
keypad
mind.
behind the boss's desk. What could it mean? Was it a sign of hope for Stanley's future? Alas, it was not. For although this keypad guarded the terrible secret of Stanley's past, it had been assigned a 4-digit code so devious and so random that no man could ever hope to guess it. 2845. Statistically, nearly impossible to guess blindly, ever.
What now?
Stanley, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Last go round. Last go round. It does. I suppose it does bring up some questions. You know, are we just addicted to games too much that we're letting life pass us
Stanley
by?
walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Yeah.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed
yeah.
with television screens.
How long have we got
What
left
horrible
to
secret
record
did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
I think I've ran out of recording. About 11 minutes ago. Right. Dave's back again. Something went wrong with the recording, so I'm going to splice it together and edit in. So it's just jumping. Right.
Now the monitors jumped to life.
Yeah,
true
we
nature
know.
revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Yep, let's go this way.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time?
Yes, yours.
Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Yeah. Okay.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going. What all this means. I barely know where to start.
I must have had to enjoy the voice.
You'd like to know where your co-workers are?
No, I don't give a fuck.
A moment of solace before you're obliterated?
Yes.
All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them.
Okay.
I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My
I'll probably be the
only
same.
34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds. Time doesn't grow on trees.
Nope, it doesn't.
What's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now?
I'm just a
Or did you just
And I want to
assume you saw
fucking
that timer, that
blow
something
the
in
place
this room
up.
was capable of turning it off?
Everybody wants
And
to see
look
the
at
world
you,
burn.
running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on
Yeah.
every little thing in this room. These numbered
Hey.
buttons, no, these colored ones, or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless, to see you made humble. This is not a challenge, it's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first,
Good.
so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up.
There might be a way to stop that. Pay something extra, probably. Yeah. So. That's the outside world where you escape to, and you just go straight there. Wait, this.
All of his co-workers were... Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office?
Nope. Yep, oh, but he's saying stuff different this time. New content.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
It does just keep you playing. I can't believe I'm playing a walking simulator, basically. With, like, weird commentary on life being nasty.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
Yeah.
Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Yeah, it'll probably
So
be
far, it's an
exactly the
average.
same.
Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
Yeah. No.
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or oh, here we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it. I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Oh, give me the content, Stanley.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
I've got to jump for 36 times. This is strangely actually quite thingy. That was fun.
Is that it?
That's
Surely
exactly what
that's
I
not
said.
all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
Yeah.
Goodness. Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not
No,
positive.
actually,
It's just
I'm quite
elevators and
enjoying it
jumping.
for some
Is this
reason.
what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could counter 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh wait, there's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
Thank you for enjoying
That's
the new
it?
content.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market
That's
for no
very
reason
true,
other than to
actually.
make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's trophies, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test trophy, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations.
That's really
If you're
good.
still with me,
I
why
must
don't we
admit.
just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No
What's back?
frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
I like how he said that. This looks a bit different though.
Psst! Stanley! Come over here!
Where are you?
In the vent! I want to show you something!
Okay, show me something. It's a cup of coffee. Okay.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past, and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look. I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap PlayStation port? Remember back in October of 2013 when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all
PC
meant
Master Race,
something.
motherfuckers.
Oh, the waste.
Races. Okay.
Je suis dans la memory zone, seul sur la
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
An hour of new elevator content. Person over here.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect.
Yeah.
It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new
New
content. All they had to do was transport it in pristine condition along to the PlayStation. Boom, done. And they couldn't even do that. Couldn't resist the urge to go meddling with a beloved franchise. These were simpler times, Stanley. What I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no, oh God, no, Stanley. It's a collection of reviews from Pressurized Gas, the extremely popular online storefront for computer games. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Not recommended.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining.
I'm quite enjoying that.
Funny? I'm trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
On extra content.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can.
Maybe a wee bit.
This is actually quite shocking for me. I always, well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did, but maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record.
Yes, definitely.
I feel like a failure.
No,
like
you're
I let
not.
these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered. What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
Just walk round just in case.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people. And if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up.
Already have hit this button already, Pookie.
We'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue.
Yeah, you have.
Something like this. The story, and the choices, or what have you, and therefore, by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably, we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once, so
I got you mad, there's bits of this I was saying
that. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet, no, until 245. But the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction of
see how long you keep rambling.
manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years. until
intelligence.
just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime. It can't be. It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever?
Okay. He probably goes on for ages.
Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if I had to describe it, I'd say it was perhaps less of a rumination and more of a treatise.
Yeah.
Or maybe a manifesto. Look, I'll outline it for you very briefly, and you can tell me what you think. Okay, so my theory is that any choice you've ever made is simply a series of choices made by the person who you are, or were, or will be at the time of having made said choice. That is to say, if by articulating a choice you've already made, you bring that choice into being, then by making no choice and saying nothing, are you not simply erecting in the sanctuary of time a monument to every
Very good
person
point.
you've ever been, making every choice to which you've ever given your great gift of mortal and yet timeless thought? Or rather, do all of the choices you've ever made, in fact, make you more not this kind of person, and in fact do the very opposite? You see, it could in fact be both of these things at once. That you are both making choices and not making choices, and that they are both affecting you and not affecting you at the same time by virtue of the fact that you both are and are not.
Is it actually
making them.
10 past 1?
Okay, at first, I was leaning towards manifesto.
That's half one.
But now I'm going to circle around and slap the treatise label on this one. I think it has much more of a treatise vibe to it. But wouldn't you say that manifesto just has a much grander sort of tone? It has a mouthfeel that is rich with ambition and history. Ambitious history, if you will.
Yeah.
See, now you've gotten me going back to manifesto. Heavens, at this rate, we're going to be here all day. Okay, look, I have a method for exactly this sort of situation. And I do find myself in this situation frequently. I'm going to say each word back and forth in repeated succession until I become sick of one or the other.
There we go. Right.
Well, there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. I can't wait to see what.
Now they've got you pressing a PUGH. They've got you pressing a button again and again. That's quite smart.
To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first place.
Nope.
I guess I should become better.
Skip. There we go.
Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable by any... Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my message is phoning. I just need to
Stanley,
just listen to this guy.
Well, 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just... Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything.
I'm going to have to call it a day here. So, check it out. See what you think. Okay. Right. Remember, like and subscribe. Cheers.